morning. Good morning. That's it. That's right. Welcome to Palm Springs and welcome to Engage for Good 2026. Now let's see who's more excited to be here today. Is it the newcomers or the veterans? If you're a veteran, make some noise. All right, that's pretty decent. If you're a newcomer, make some noise. I don't know. I think the newcomers kind of won that one. It's good, it's good. Well, if you've been here before, welcome back. You're Engaged for Good family. And I'm so glad you're back. You probably already know the drill. You probably already scouted the attendee list and found 3 people you want to try to meet in some way. You probably also drafted a LinkedIn post mentally about how amazing this community is, the power of connection, and how many amazing people that you met. Write it. Tag us. It's going to be great. If this is your first time, welcome. We're basically a cult. A very chic, socially conscious, capitalism-friendly, karaoke-loving cult. Welcome. You found your people. And for those of you who have never been to Palm Springs before, here's a very quick orientation. It is very hot. It is very beautiful. The sunsets and sunrises are unreal. And at some point this week, you are going to want to take a photo with the caption, "Working hard or hardly working." I know I'm going to do it. I know you're going to do it. So let's just get it out of the way and get it done. Okay? Before I get to what I really want to talk about today, I want to thank our amazing partners who made this event possible. They believe in this vision of building a community that is unlike any other. I also want to specifically call out our 2 premier partners this year, Adyen and Your Cause by Blackbaud. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for betting on this community and the leaders in it. Everything that we do at Engage for Good conference this year starts from one belief. Every single one of you in this room is taking care of the world. Let us take care of you this week. Okay, so here's what I've been thinking about over the last year. I spent hundreds upon hundreds of hours talking to corporate social impact leaders, nonprofit leaders, consultants, agencies, people from all parts of this sector. And I kept noticing something. The conversations have changed, and we all know that. A few years ago, when I asked them, "What are you working on?" they would tell me this bold new initiative they were launching, this new partnership that they're so excited about, this new idea that they just pitched that they got funding for. Now, the answers I'm getting are, we're just trying to hold on. We're figuring out what we can protect. We're trying to see how things will shake out. And I get it, right? We all get it. The headwinds are real. We're all feeling that pressure. Budgets are still not where they used to be. Teams are still shrinking. Programs that took years to build are being pulled apart in just a quarter. We can't even say the word gay and women anymore, which is ridiculous. Like, what are we living in right now, right? It just feels surreal. But what this is, it is survival mode. And survival mode makes complete sense right now. Survival mode doesn't build a future. It is designed to protect what exists, to minimize loss, to get through. And if all of us, the people in this room, spend the next few years just focused on survival, we might look up one day and realize that we forgot how to build. We will have protected the present at the cost of the future. And I want to be honest with you about something. I had my own version of survival mode this year. It didn't look like a budget cut for a very small team. It didn't look like something really massive around some political decisions. But sometime in the last year, I realized something, that I've been quietly treating my peers. These are organizations adjacent to Engage for Good, doing really, really important work. I've been treating them like competition. Not openly. I was perfectly friendly at industry events. I've shared stages with them. We send really nice, polite emails to each other. But privately, I was kind of keeping them at arm's length. And I always felt just a tinge of discomfort when I saw them do something that I was doing at Engage for Good. Because in my head, the questions that kept coming up were, what if they replicate my programming? What if I share too much and they use it? What if I invite them to engage for good and they go after my partners? I'm talking about organizations, amazing organizations like CECP, ACCP, Social Innovation Summit, NationsWell. There's so many others out there. These are incredible organizations doing fantastic work. They're doing work that legitimately matters, and I want to see more of that. And I was kind of treating them like they're threats. And I realized the thing about scarcity thinking is that it always sounds really rational. It always has a logical argument ready for you. It will look you in the eye and say, this is just you being strategic, Muneer. And it's convincing enough that you believe it for a while, until you stop and you actually think about what you're doing and what you're protecting. So I was protecting market share in a sector that's trying to solve hunger, homelessness, cancer. I was trying to protect my business in a sector that's trying to solve the biggest problems that's facing humanity. That is survival mode. It's not the dramatic kind, it's the quiet kind. The quiet kind that sneaks in wearing the costume of strategy and self-preservation and sounds completely reasonable until you say it out loud publicly in front of 750 people sitting in this room. I realized I was following the same path that was laid before me, protecting my turf. And I was calling it strategy. And that is not why I took one of the biggest risks of my career and my life to take over Engage for Good and try to do something different. You can't do something different by doing the same exact thing. What I do know is that for this sector to survive, we need to build as many bridges as possible. The quietness of our sector, after the pushback of the last couple of years, rings loudly in my ears still. Why wasn't there a bigger outcry led by organizations like Engage for Good and others to defend the value of our work? Because those bridges didn't exist. So a few months ago, I took a deep breath and I made some calls. I started sending some emails to ACCP, to NationsWell, and some others. Not to pitch, but just to say, hey, I'd love for you or someone from your organization to come to Engage for Good. I think we should be talking more. I think the field is stronger when we act like a field. And I think I've been part of the problem by not reaching out sooner. Some of those conversations are still very early. They're super fragile, okay? I can feel the hesitation on their side very, very clearly, right? There's ideas coming out, but there's a little bit of a wall there, and I get it. I don't know what this will lead to, but I'm telling you about it here now, publicly, on this stage, because I'm about to ask you to do something similar. And I think you deserve to know that I'm also trying to. Last year, I talked about an idea created by Ibu Patel that a lot of you told me stayed with you. I said, America isn't a melting pot. It's a potluck. A melting pot asks everyone to dissolve into something uniform. You lose the flavor, you lose the distinction, you lose the spice. A potluck, on the other hand, everyone brings something rooted in who they are, and the table is richer for it. Last year, I invited you to our potluck, and you showed up. You came to our table, and you came back again this year. But I think we need to go a little further this year. I think we've gotten pretty good at showing up to the potluck, and I think also we've gotten pretty good at pulling up a chair. What we haven't gotten good at is sharing our recipes. We'll put the dish on the table, we'll let people taste it, we'll accept the compliments graciously, but the recipe, the actual methodology, the hard-won lessons, the things that didn't work before you found the thing that did, we hold that close, because that's our value. And we're taught our value is scarce, and we have to protect it. And I understand that instinct. I just made a confession about it, that I feel it too. But I think the value of doing good and sharing how we do it is infinite. Imagine what this sector could build if we actually shared our recipes with each other openly. If we stopped treating our best practices like secrets and started treating them like open source code. The most delicious food that we enjoy today didn't happen because one chef made it and decided to protect it. It happened because the knowledge traveled across cultures, across time, across borders, and someone new and something new got created that nobody else could have made alone. That's the potluck I want to create this week. Not just showing up, sharing our recipes. And that's what every session at Engage for Good this week is about. We've asked our 90+ speakers to share their recipes with all of you. So what does it look like to move from competition to collaboration? What does it look like when we're working in the same space, chasing the same funders, trying to own the same white space? And I want to offer 4 bridges for us to think about this week, okay? Bridge number 1, making the call you've been avoiding. The one to the organization you've been circling. You look at their LinkedIn page, you see what they're doing, how many followers they have. You look which organizations are funding them. The adjacent player. The person you've been watching from a distance while telling yourself that it's strategic. And I'm telling you that abundance starts with one hesitant email and one hesitant call. You don't need a plan. You just need to make that call. And you just need to start the conversation. You might be very surprised what's on the other side of that door. Bridge number 2. Share something you'd normally protect. A methodology, a framework, a lesson from a program that you launched. The thing you've been treating like your secret sauce, write it down, put it on the table, and share it. Teach it. Trust that giving it away does not diminish you in any way. It establishes you as somebody you want to build with. Bridge number 3. Redefine what winning looks like. Scarcity measures success by guarding what you own. Abundance measures it by what you build. If the outcome you're chasing is dependent entirely on you alone or your organization, you're probably thinking a little too small. The question isn't, how do I get credit for this? The question is, how do I create something that is a catalyst for something much bigger? And 4, the coalition, not the congregation. We are extraordinarily good at gathering people who are just like us. We use the same language, we read the same reports, we follow the same frameworks, we go to the same conferences, clearly. But a congregation is not a coalition. And right now, this work requires coalitions. A coalition means being in the room with people who don't share your starting assumptions. It means choosing to find the 20% of overlap instead of fighting about the 80% of difference. It means talking to the conservative business leader who cares about workforce development more than you care about their politics, even if they make you wince. It means engaging the faith community that has been feeding your community for 40 years, even if you are not a person of faith. It means finding common ground with someone who uses different words than you and deciding the work together matters way more than the disagreement on the words we use. Depolarization is not a soft skill. It is the work our sector requires now. It belongs in this room, and the responsibility is with us. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying that competition is the enemy. I'm a very competitive person. People who know me know how competitive I am, okay? Very, very competitive. And that drives me. That competition drives me. It makes me very, very excited to do my work. We work in a system that also rewards competition, and that's a great thing. And honestly, we need more of that in this sector, right? We need more innovation and more competition in this sector in that way. It pushes us to think bigger, to get stronger, and to get sharper. To ask whether what we're building is actually better than what already exists. That pressure absolutely matters, so please don't take that away. But I'm also not talking about a melting pot, where everyone dissolves into one big collaborative mush, okay? Where we all just kind of agree. That's not abundance. That's just a different kind of scarcity, where we lose the distinctiveness that makes each of us valuable. So think about a puzzle. Every piece has its own shape, its own edges, right? Its own unique contribution. The pieces don't meld into each other when you're making a puzzle. And the picture only appears when each piece keeps its shape and finds its place in the bigger picture. That's what abundance looks like. Not competition versus collaboration, both. Competition that makes you sharper, collaboration that makes you bigger. The question isn't whether to compete or collaborate, it's knowing when to do which. And being brave enough to choose collaboration when your deep instinct is telling you to protect and to compete. I want to close with hope and reassurance. There's a beautiful phrase in Farsi, the Persian language, that gets translated as "I miss you." Dilam barat tang shode. But that translation doesn't do it justice. Because what it literally means is, my heart has become tight for you. Not "I miss you," but my heart physically contracts in your absence. So beautiful. The world gets smaller without you in it. The shape of things in this world changes because you're not here. I want you to sit with that for a moment. I'm not trying to propose to you, don't worry. Because here's what I know, not as a feeling, but as a fact, about every single one of you in here. There are people alive today because of decisions that you made. Not metaphorically, literally. There are people who found the program that caught them before they fell. People who got the resources they needed at the right time they needed them. People who felt seen, genuinely seen, for the first time by someone who chose to show up when it could have been really easy not to. There are people fed, people housed, people who survived cancer. There are young people who found their voice, their purpose, their community, their reason to stay alive. Because you committed your energy, your career, the very best of your thinking to making that possible. And I know it doesn't feel that way, especially now. And I know it feels like the budget cuts are erasing our work. Like the rollbacks are rewriting our history. Like everything you spent years building is being dismantled right in front of our eyes. But here's what cannot be undone. The people who were helped were helped. That is permanent. It's already in the world. That cannot be legislated away. It cannot be defunded. It cannot be rebranded. It cannot be erased. It cannot be rolled back into non-existence. The history of this sector, which is your history, our history, is written in the lives of people who are different because you exist, because you made the choice. And if you had not made the choices you made, if you had not made the choices you made, the easy ones and the hard ones that cost you something, this world would not be the same. It would be drastically different. It would be darker, it would be a little lonelier, it would be a little smaller. My heart tightens at the thought of it. So my ask of you is to please don't carry this work like it's a burden that was not worth it. Carry it like what it is. You're showing up when it matters. You're choosing the long game when the short one might be easier. You continue to decide again and again, that this world that we live in is worth fighting for. We need you here. This field needs you here. The people your work reaches, whether they know your name or not, they need you here. And if you ever forget that, Dalam Bharat Tang Shode. My heart tightens without you in it. So, I want to close by just mentioning a little bit about the pressure we're all feeling, right? This week is about joy, okay? I know this speech is a little serious right now, but this week is about joy. But we're feeling the pressure, and I want to name the pressure. I don't want to avoid it, okay? Because it's hard to get up in the morning sometimes. But here's what I know about pressure. It doesn't have to kill purpose. It can clarify it if we let it. Tighter budgets force us to ask the harder questions. What's actually working? Who are we actually doing this for? Who should we be building this with? And what does this all lead to? These are important, important questions. And that's not a threat to our purpose. That's purpose getting more precise, which is why this year's theme is Purpose with Precision. And every session we've curated for you this week is a window into what that actually looks like in this field, from real people, real leaders, real programs, real campaigns, real lessons, real wins, and real failures. Choosing abundance when everything around you is screaming scarcity is one of the hardest things we have to do. It goes against every instinct survival mode has taught us for decades or hundreds of years. But that is exactly what this moment needs most. Scarcity says, protect what's yours. Abundance says, build something bigger than you. So, my friends, let's build something bigger than us this week. Thank you, and welcome to Engage for Good.